All right, here we go. We're going to graph piecewise and how to do this. So hopefully this helps you out. How to graph them. Hopefully this serves you well. So first off, what you need to do is in this piecewise graph, you have to remember that it's piecewise. And we're going to graph the pieces. So we're going to start with the first piece. All right? This first piece is a line. Okay, this first piece is a line. Now this line, we look at the domain. All right, make sure you look at the domain. And when you graph this, realize that we have a line here. Okay. And to do so, we're going to actually, I'm going to just create a table. And to graph a line, I need 2 points. Now for this first one, for the first line, I'm only going to use x values which are greater than or equal to 0. I'm going to plug that into, to get the y values, I'm going to plug into 2x plus 1. So the first value I'm going to plug in is 0. All right, let's plug into that value first. Okay, now when you do that, when I plug in 0, this is what's going to be a closed point, right? Closed value. Now I'm going to plug 0 in there, I get 1. All right, so I'm going to plot 0, 1, to a closed value, so 0, 1. There we go. I'm going to see. All right. All right, so this one will be black, 0, 1. Now, next one, I'm going to plug in a value. Now, look at the domain. This is a key. Look at the domain of values that are greater than 1. So if you put this in a calculator, if you're doing the table, only look at the values where you plug in x values that are greater than 1. So I'm going to plug in a 1. When I plug in 1, I'm going to have 2 times 1 plus 1, which gives us 3. So now I'm going to plot 1, 3. So 1, 2, 3, and we have that. This is a line. I can connect the dots, blah, 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 and there we have it. All right, our first piece of our piecewise function. The next part is I'm going to use this value. It's in green. All right, I'm going to use that one. Now, for this one, I'm going to create another table. However, I'm using the domain, all right, of x, which is less than 0. So all my x values are going to be less than 0. The y values for what I'm going to use to get my y values are this graph, right? Or this equation, negative x plus 1. Now, where do you start? Well, I'm going to start at 0. And the reason why is because that is my starting point for each one of these. You always want to start at the ending point of your interval. This, however, is going to be an open circle. It's going to be an open circle because you can't actually plug in 0 into that. However, we do need to take into account all the values just to the left of 0. So like if you wanted to plug in negative 0.1 or negative 0.9999 or negative 0.00001, all those values I have to plug into this one, so I just want to make sure I fill it in when I'm graphing. I'm going to plug this in here, and what we have is going to be 1, all right, for our value. So I'm going to go over here at 0, 1, all right. It just so happens they equal the same thing. So actually, it's going to be an open circle, but it's filled in by the other one, right? So they are locking into place, okay, locking into place. And that happens sometimes, so this is pretty cool. Now, after that, we're going to plug in all values that are less than that, so we're going to plug in negative 1, right? That's the value less than it. When I plug that in there, I got negative 1 plus 1, which gives us 2. All right, so I got is negative 1, 2, negative 1, 2. So negative 1, 2, and I graph that. And there is my graph. Okay? Kind of looks like an absolute value function. It is not, but that's what we got there. So, how do you graph a piecewise function? Graph each one of the pieces individually. All right, that's the key thing. Keys to graphing. Graph each piece individually. All right, that is the key. If you can figure that out and just use the pieces of it, it'll serve you well. All right, well, we're going to do one more after this, but I'm going to stop here. So if you need another tutorial, another example, there'll be one in my next tutorial. All right, good luck and God bless.